Hello, my name is Jennifer Holloway, and this is my extreme makeover presentation for NU 713. Let's get started. So, this presentation today will present communication and system challenges affecting staff in a healthcare organization. We will really focus on leadership styles in the organization. This organization prides itself on caring, accountability, teamwork, and doing right. They're committed to providing world class patient care to the local community and beyond while providing patient and family centric care. Being an academic medical center and the largest state employer, they're devoted to educating medical professionals and advancing medical science through research. So let's get into the story of the miscommunication in the workplace. So, in my previous position, we had a discrepancy of benefits um, in the workplace, particularly for inpatient salaried staff. So, of course, the organization is made up of inpatient and outpatient staff as far as the hospital is concerned. So we had sick time, PTO, and personal holidays. Personal holidays would kind of include your days that you think of for Christmas, New Year's, and so forth. So while outpatient staff always got 11 personal holidays a year because they observed all of those types of holidays. However, within the system, only 3 of those personal holidays are represented to take. So the discrepancy came in for the inpatient staff because while we saw those 3 personal holidays just as the outpatient staff did, we were not getting the other 8 holidays that were not represented in the documented 3 personal holidays. So, however, we were still entitled to them, but this went a while without noticing. So, I was actually the employee who read and realized that we were not getting these holidays. So, yearly, the organization as a whole would send out a reminder of what all of your benefits were and your total compensation. So, when reading this breakdown one year, I noticed that it said 11 personal holidays. So, I took this to more seasoned staff members, and they went and found the same documentation and realized that there said the same thing. However, none of us were getting this, and we were confused as to why. Was it a misunderstanding on our part of what it meant, or was it some reason we weren't getting them? So within our unit, as practitioners, we had a lead nurse practitioner. We also had in a different ICU unit, there we had sister staff. So we were hired into the same department, which was the anesthesia department. So everything for us should look very similar. But the other team had their own lead practitioner. So in our unit, we had monthly meetings with the practitioners and the medical director. So in this, we brought to the lead practitioner and the medical director this documentation that stated we should get 11 personal holidays. Of course, it was delegated to the lead practitioner to find out, and she was happy to do so. So, staff, of course, was not happy, but also very hopeful that we may be receiving some additional time off that we had not before. But in healthcare, there are some other competing factors that may not make the organization as happy, especially staffing issues. And then you also have different management styles and perspectives. So, our lead practitioner at the time came back and said, after talking to senior level management, within the practitioner department as a whole stated that yes, we should be getting those additional 8 holidays, but we have to track it manually because the computer system does not allow for it to be inputted because of the difference between inpatient and outpatient staff, and it does not account for that. However, the other practitioner in the other sister unit disagreed and stated that she would not be giving her staff any of those additional days. However, HR and head practitioner senior level staff had designated that all practitioners, inpatient nurse practitioners, were to receive those 8 days. So, first thing, the great thing is the organization mailed out yearly our benefits so that you could check it. We were able to then recognize the discrepancy, poll our peers, which included not only the 2 units that I spoke about, but we also talked to other nurse practitioners and other inpatient units, and they were receiving those additional days. Um, Relaying the concern to management was an easy task. We had monthly meetings, and so therefore we were able to do that. The concern came in with differences of management styles, and how it ended up affecting my unit was that we ended up combining with that sister unit as management, and so therefore instead of having a lead for each unit, there was now only one lead for both units. And the lead ended up being the practitioner from the sister unit of mine who did not agree with the additional personal holidays. So, of course, this caused some discourse in the group because people felt as if they were being denied their benefits. And so this caused people to have to go to the medical director and then ultimately to the department's HR representative. And ultimately, it was determined that we were due those an additional 8 days. So, organization as a conversation. So, this is a large organization employing tens of thousands of people in various roles. And so it's very complex yet relational. We had those opportunities to talk to management, whether it be local or higher up management. And then since it's complex, of course, we have complex responsive processes, and it was reflexive and relationship driven as a whole. However, we did have managers within who did not operate in that way. So, patterns of relating. So, with the changing of management, the changing of the guards, came some different patterns of relating. And so, initially, we had a very relational and conversational leadership, which led to increased staff satisfaction. Whereas after the changing of the guards, we entered into more of a leader-centered leadership where the leader at the local level wanted to lead according to what was best for them and their staffing needs. And then senior leadership in the organization was much more aligned with a relational leader. Patterns of meaning. So you have your gestures, your meanings, and response. Um, the kind gesture of being sympathetic and open to hearing um, your concerns meant you got a more positive response from your staff, meaning greater relation. Ways of talking, listening, and being. So in this situation, we experienced two different ways. One way to enliven and engage. We were able to communicate with that first lead practitioner, and people were more willing to do whatever they needed to help her, versus one who controlled and alienated people by trying to deny them their benefits. There were also some other instances concerning schedule that lended to the same issues with that particular leader. Innovation. So how do we fix the problem? Ultimately, this is a organizational problem. And so there has to be a way through technology to fix the discrepancy in outpatient and inpatient benefits documentation. It is challenging because it may require different coding or maybe even different challenges. And we know that staffing is a chronic issue in healthcare, and some of the incentives that ended up being enacted to help retain staff was a retention bonus. Other concepts and ideas, leadership strengths. We really want to lean on that. In the example of the first lead, there was a very trusting, compassionate, stable, and hopeful relationship which led to greater staff satisfaction and retention. How do we fix this problem? Shared governance. We talked about this in the last module. Um, And the unit was initially doing some great things. Like I said, we had monthly meetings that were rarely missed, versus when we had the changing of the guards. A lot of those meetings went away. They went from monthly to quarterly, and then those were often canceled as well. So we needed more counsel, we needed more think tanks. Thank you.